this week. We had a week off last week because it was the Buddha's birthday. Buddha's birthday, and we had the celebration. I think all in different parts of the world, and that's why we had 1 week off. But I'm so very happy that we resume again today. So when we begin, we always go back to last time's review, and so we're going to do that again. And last time we talked about the Dharma Master Tzu Chi, or Dharma Master Di Jia, depending on how you pronounce his name, in different languages and dialects. And so what we talked about last time was that what does that mean to be someone who is foremost in preaching Dharma? What does that mean when someone is able to preaching Dharma to the fullest of the potential and the fullest of the ability? And so, the Dharma Master Huisi, which is his teacher, actually mentioned that for anyone who is attached to the writings and the knowledge within the writings and not applying the cultivation in practical terms can't possibly beat Zen Master Di Jia in the thorough understanding of the principles and teachings. So this is what Dharma Master Huisi said about his disciple, about his teacher, about his student. But what I thought about at that time was that it's very different, because in today's world, in order to preach the Dharma, it's actually not enough to just quote and cite from various scriptures and sutras, but rather you need to use real world examples. Cases where we have to use the current events. We have to be coming in and out of the time, in talking about the quotes from the past, the things that's happening right now, and what we're doing right now. So this is something that's very important, and using real examples that are engaging and relevant to the audiences. And I really think that in this world right now, what we're seeing is Master Cheng, our master, is the one that is foremost in preaching Dharma, because that's exactly what our master is doing, right? It's not just talking about the words, and it's not just talking about the writings in the sutra, but rather master is talking about the sutra's teaching as well as what's happening in this world. And not just the stories and the news that are really happening right now, but also actively engages in these. So it's not talking about them like they're in the news, like the news people, news anchors. They're talking about things that's happening in different parts of the world because it's in the different parts of the world, right? There's war going on. There are people not eating. There are people dying, right? So they're talking about it, but we are actually engaged actively to these things. And I think that's very important. So, and we are actively putting an effort in shaping the history and the future. We are part of the history, as Master always tells us. We have to be part of the history, and by being part of the history, we are part of the future as well. And that's what we talked about 2 weeks ago. And furthermore, I think Master also cautioned us in that all the information and all the Dharma and all the scriptures, right, are already stored online, okay? So all of this text are stored online, and they're so readily available with the touch from our fingertips that all we needed to do was, slide on our iPad or iPhone or computer, and we're able to find all the teachings. The teachings where it was, annotated by somebody, it was written by somebody, it was talked by somebody, there was speeches and teachings and principles and everything, they were all stored online, right? It became so simple, so easy to obtain, that it's very, very easy to lose this respect and reverence for this Dharma. And this is what Master cautioned us, that because it's so easy that we lose the respect. And because we lose the respect, the Dharma becomes less effective, because it's so easily obtained. It's like, if it's something that's so easy, everybody can get it, then it becomes something that is not important, something that is not as good in our ordinary being's mind, right? So if you look in the past, when all the past reverend Dharma masters that went through very long distance, and they have to almost sacrifice their lives to obtain this Dharma, so that we could have these texts all the way from India. If you imagine all of this difficult journey that's happening in order for us to get there and get that, and somebody had to translate it, then you would understand the sincerity. You would understand the importance of it. But because if we don't see that respect, if we don't see the difficulties in obtaining Dharma, then it's easy to lose that respect. So we're going to go into this week's review. And this week, once again, I think on Monday, there were rumors, and there are all these rumors, and that didn't eventually pan out. But people were saying that Master was going to come out in the morning. And, I heard of that too. And I thought that was going to happen too. But apparently, for the past week, the Master still hasn't come out for the morning talk. But regardless, I think this is one thing that I want everybody to think about is we need to cherish this in that it's not an automatic thing that, when we wake up the next day, Master will be there to talk, and Master will be there to give us the lecture and the teachings. It's not every day that this is happening automatically. It's not like, you turn on the faucet, water will come out. It's not automatic. You have to have the blessings in order to have that. You have to have enough, cultivate enough in order for you to get that blessing that you are able to listen to the teachings of a Grand Master. Now, whatever the reason, maybe it's running out, for us, our blessings are running out, but we're not able to listen to the real-time live ones. But there are recordings that I think we need to cherish as well. And I understand that a lot of people are thinking that, there are recordings, I've heard them before, they're not new. Well, if you haven't heard of it before, if you have forgotten about it, then they are new to you. And also, every time you hear something, it's something new because you've grown as a person. You've grown as an individual in your way of thinking, in your wisdom. So I think it's still very important that we cherish all the opportunities that we can listen to the Dharma, especially following our Master. And today, it's a very special session. It's called the real Q&A. And what does that mean is the real Q&A? Because this is the Q&A that is not done by me. This is the Q&A that is done by Master. Okay, so it's real. It's not my fake ones at the end of the session where I answer questions or hopefully answer questions. This is the real Q&A and back and forth between Master and the visitor. And I only pick out two today because I think I wanted to get into one long one and one short one. And that gives you a look into what Master thinks. And these are the questions. These two questions are usually the ones that reporters will ask. And I wanted to bring it closer to everybody in that this is not a question that reporters ask, but how is it relevant to me? What does it mean to me? Do I have the same question, or how do I apply the answers to my life as well? So the first question is actually very long. Okay, so the first question is this. The person that asks the question says, I personally, wholeheartedly believe in the Buddha and strive to do good deeds, but we're still ordinary beings. We want to be enlightened, but there are still many afflicted thoughts in our mind. How do we cultivate to repel the evil and eventually be enlightened? So this is the question that was asked. And you can see that the person is very sincere. This person is very sincere in that he believes in the teachings of the Buddha. And he believes in doing the good deeds. But still, and I think this is very true for all of us, very true for all of us, that we know what we need to do, but we just don't do it, right? Or we know we need to do something, but we're not there yet. So because, as the person asks, as the person said, we are still ordinary beings. So how do we cultivate? Okay, how do we get to where we want to get to repel the evil and eventually be enlightened? So the Master replied. Master says, if everyone is already purified, then you and I wouldn't be sitting here. Okay, that's very true. Okay, we would already be enlightened. We'll be somewhere in the universe and trying to transform other people and things like that. Okay, but Master says, throughout countless lifetimes, we have accumulated much afflictions. And that is true. So now this reply is probably the longest reply I've seen, and Master goes off to talk about something else that I didn't include here. But so Master began by saying, obviously, we are all still trying. Okay, you are no different than me. We're all still trying. That we're all still afflicted, and we're all still trying to be like the Buddha. Okay, and the reason is because it has gone through countless lifetimes. The time is stacked against us. Countless lifetimes, we have accumulated so much affliction. Okay, so next. Master says, more than 2,000 years ago, okay, there is someone, and that's the Buddha. There is someone who wanted to seek out the truth of life, the universal truth. He left the palace and visited practitioners of different faiths. At the time, there were many different faiths. Also, this is talking about the Buddha leaving the palace, and in order to seek out the answer that he had, he was asking the question, what is the point and what is the truth of life? And he wanted to find the truth, the principles of life. And he found many, many different teachers, yet none of the teachers. There were many different practices. So he found all these practices and trying to ask this very same question. And he was trying to learn what the true teaching is. So, so Master continued. After the Buddha visited all the practices, he felt that they were not complete, that their teachings were not wholesome, they were not complete. So he paused to contemplate. So as he went through all the 96 different parts, different practices, he realizes that all the answers that these teachers and the teachings and the faith that gave him were not something that he was looking for. You know how you feel when you ask a question and the person answers in a way that's not exactly that you're looking for? It's like you have an itch and you are scratching it and it doesn't get scratched. It's still itching. The same idea. So the Buddha went to ask all these questions and he felt that the answers were not there. These are not the answers that he was looking for. So he paused. He said, instead of looking outward, can I try to contemplate? Can I try to think about this? And so Master said, after the Buddha gone through much reflection and contemplation, the Buddha reached a state of stillness and serenity. This mindful, this stillness of the mind. Okay, and so Master said, what I call the still contemplation or 静思维. Okay, still contemplation. And others have referred to it as Zen or Samadhi. Okay, so Master is saying that the Buddha, after much visitation to all these different schools and all these different practices, the Buddha reached thinking that none of them can provide an answer. So the Buddha says, I'm going to try to think of this, reflecting and also contemplating. So he reached a state of stillness and serenity and what Master called still contemplation. And then he figured out that the universal truth, okay, the universal truth. And so Master continued, okay, Master continued. Obviously, there's a part in the middle that I left out, the part where the universal truth, and it was very grand and very big. It was the language that I don't think, even if I translate it, it would do justice to what Master was trying to say. So Master continued. She said, such enlightenment, Buddha's enlightenment, is not something that we can comprehend. But Buddha's guidance is pointing us to the right direction. And therefore, we must have faith. And we must make vows. And then take action. And in Buddhism, that is called faith, vow, and action. So what Master is telling us is that the Buddha has gone through all these trials and errors. The Buddha had gone through all these different schools of practices to tell you that this is the right path. And this is the path that you need to walk on. And what we're thinking right now is a lot of us, we're still not believing. We have to go through the same thing ourselves so that we will find our own faults and then we go, well, maybe this is not the right path. What Master is telling us is that we might not be able to comprehend right now, what the Buddha understood and what the Buddha was enlightened about. But at least the last thing we could do is we can agree and we can believe that the Buddha was enlightened. And he is pointing us to a direction that is suitable and adequate and correct for all of us. And therefore we must believe it. And then we must make the vows to be on this path and then take actions on this path. So that's what's called faith, vow, and action. Okay, so Master continue. We need to have faith in the Buddha. He is enlightened and have taught us the knowledge and wisdom that is both within and beyond our world. So a lot of things that the Buddha had taught us at the time are knowledges and wisdom of the world, within the world, but that was beyond our time. So we couldn't understand. Now, things seems to be within our world, within our time, but that's beyond our world. Like, the universe, something that's much bigger, 3-dimensional, 4-dimension, 5-dimension, 8 dimensions, all of this, that's completely beyond our understanding. So, but even if we do not understand that, Master is saying that we have to have faith. And that is very important. Everything starts by having faith in the Buddha. If you have the faith in the Buddha's teaching, if you believe that he is enlightened, and if you believe that he is going to teach us this wisdom, then we have to have faith in what he taught us, and we need to have faith to follow and take our vow and action on this path. So, continue. And Master says, all the teachings are written clearly in the sutra. And even if we cannot completely understand all at the moment, the teachings very much resonate with our lifelong pursuit. Okay, so Master is trying to explain that we might not understand everything that was taught in the sutra. We might not understand everything that was spoken, that was taught to us by even our master. But we need to understand and have faith that the directions and the simple teachings by our master is pointing us and resonating with our lifelong pursuit, even though we might not know it yet, but that's the direction that we need to take. So it's a very simple question, yet the answers are very profound. And I bet most of you already forgotten what the question was. What was the question? So the question was that we are just ordinary beings, and how do we repel the evil so that we can be on the side of the Buddha? So the master goes through all of this to tell the person that the sutra tells you so much, and you might not understand all of it. In fact, it's very guaranteed that you don't understand all of it. You might understand only a very little bit of it. But the very little bit of it that you understand, you need to have faith and you need to follow that. And now there's someone like Master who is telling you the path is very straightforward, then you need to walk on the path instead of just thinking, I don't understand. But rather, just be on the path. Believe the master, believe the Buddha, and be on the path. So now the master goes into real world examples now. So she said, in the week past, we have just had the Buddha's birthday. So this is very recent. We have had Buddha's birthday, and it was also Mother's Day, and it was also Tzu Chi Day. So now Master is trying to put this perspective, not in the theoretical world, but in the practical terms. Master says, Tzu Chi volunteers, all of them, Tzu Chi volunteers, our actions are all in unison, and together it is truly magnificent. That means all of us are united with one heart, one mindset, because without such unity, our actions wouldn't be in unison. So it's talking about during the Buddha's birthday ceremony, Tzu Chi Day ceremony, how everyone's action, everyone's words, the words coming out of your mouth, the thoughts and your actions are all the same at the same time. And it's such unison. It's truly magnificent. That means all of us are united with one heart, one mindset. And Master says that proves that we're all united with one heart and one mindset because of the unison, the actions. Seeing all the people completely quiet, all these people are at the same place, but they're all not making a lot of noises. and the atmosphere is serene and harmonious. Okay, so what this is trying to say is, yes, each individual are afflicted. We are ordinary beings, all of us. But it is very possible, looking at this time, this atmosphere is serene and harmonious. So you can say that we are ordinary individuals, that we are afflicted, that we have these afflictions. Yes, but it is possible that she pointed you to a real world example where people have cultivated, in that all these people standing there and they're so quiet, not noisy. And when they open their mouth, the words coming out is the same. Their actions are the same. Their thoughts are the same. Yes, we're all ordinary afflicted individuals, but you can achieve Pure Land here in our world, samsara. And that's what the master was pointing out, that this is all possible. So what does it all mean? So obviously that's a very long question. That's a very long answer to a very short question. So what does it all mean? First, master is saying that you need to have faith. Believe in the teaching. We might not know who Buddha is because we were not there, but at least we have master now. Do you have faith in her teaching? Do you believe what she says? Or are you second guessing? And maybe we don't understand, but do you have faith in her teaching? And if you do, it's time to make vows. Why? Because it's going to be difficult. Without the vows, it's very difficult to overcome all these challenges and then act on it and continue. And those are going to be very difficult. So have faith in the Buddha and have faith in our master. There are going to be teachings that you do not understand. Trust me. There are things that we don't understand that master explained. We don't understand. And I believe there are things that our master don't understand. There are things that just beyond, unless you are enlightened, the universal enlightened one, where there are going to be things that we don't understand. But you know what? At least someone is in front of me, leading and guiding me. I'm going to have faith. Otherwise, I'm going to sit there and not moving forward. So our master have given us a direction and pointing us to that direction. We have to have faith and going in that direction. And it's not just one person, it's everyone. The effects are the strongest when it's everyone, just like in the Buddha's, in the ceremony, where you can actually truthfully affect everyone, and everyone can make this Pure Land on earth if we make it happen. So at the end of the day, it's still unity, harmony, mutual love, and cooperation. So I'm gonna have time to do one more, and this is a short one, and it's a very impactful one too. So this is another question. Somebody asks, in the 50 plus years that Tzu Chi is in existence, what are Tzu Chi's challenges? It's a very simple question. The master replied, why would Tzu Chi face challenges? Okay, and so it's very straightforward reply. Why would we have challenges? And so the person says, as an organization that operates in the society, there are bound to be pressure from all directions. In another word, what is your dream in life? Okay, what is your dream? You know, what is your dream scenario? You know, what is your dream? So this is the person asking, what are your challenges? And what is your dream in life? Okay, so this is what Master says. Master says, I'm not a dreamer and I don't have any challenges. So, okay, so why? Master says, I do what must be done. And as long as I'm willing and committed, there is no challenge. And I think this is the most impactful sentence. As long as I'm willing and committed, there is no challenge. And Master continued to say, in my life, I have no quarrels with anyone. And I am in harmony with everything in the world. Therefore, there is no challenge. And I want to see that, I want to share this with you in that a lot of questions that we got are talking about difficulties. And true, there are going to be difficulties. But they are only difficult because we haven't found a way. Try to think of it as they are not difficult because we are not willing. Okay, and if we are willing, then there is bound to be a way. So as long as you are willing, there is no challenge, and that's what Master says. If you are willing, if you stay committed, then there is no challenge. Okay, so that's a very quick, the real, true Q&A from our master, and I wanted to share that with all of you, because it actually deals with the Q&A we're going to see right now. So this one, for example, in this question, one person asks, understand the importance of cultivating both blessings and wisdom. I try to join in as many activities as possible and to listen to Master's teaching. Yet due to so many meetings held till late, well, I don't know why the meetings are held till late. We shouldn't have meetings that late. I find it tough to listen to Master's morning sermon the following day. It is also difficult to focus with so many issues in mind. Please don't have too many issues in your mind. But yes, I can totally understand. I'm telling you this because we have the same, very, very same problems, right? Real problems. Feeling remorseful, I do wonder how to balance this path. And I think this is going back to going back to what things that we are committed. It's like in your everyday life, what are the things that you must do every day? For example, 3 meals, right? And there are times when you are very tired that you skip a meal. Yes, but once you are going back to normal, then you're going back to your 3 meals. Or some of you have 2 meals. Doesn't matter, right? These are the things that you do every day. Listening to the Master's sermon is part of our lives. If you can try to think of it that way, then it's not something that you have to actively say, I need to do this. It's like when you're thirsty, you don't make a schedule, an appointment that says every day at 8 o'clock, I'm going to drink water. It's different. It's more like you see Master's sermon and you see Master's teaching as something that gives you energy, something that keeps you going. And if you see it that way, it's like water. Then you don't have an appointment that says every 2 hours, I'm going to drink. No, if you have plenty of water because what you ate today, you ate a whole watermelon, you have a lot of water in you, then, it's okay that you don't drink at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock. But because we are so afflicted, that there are so many afflictions in our lives, that we need constant teachings and Dharma to help us balance our lives. So that is it's a necessity of us. It's not like a class where if you don't go, then you lose the credit. So that's something that I wanted to bring out to everybody, is that you try to join because it's something that helps you. Even if you're very busy, you will still pause and you will have a glass of water because that's what you need. Think of the teaching in that way. Then you wouldn't feel that if you don't go there, then you feel remorseful. But rather, you know that you need to do this and you will make the time to do it. So that's the different perspective. And I wish we can see in that perspective. So once again, it's not straightforward, but it's something that I want everybody to sort of imagine, that if it's about drinking water, that's how it feels like. Okay, so it's also another question. So I see 3 questions here that are also talking about balancing. One person was talking about having too much meeting. Can I wake up early enough? Okay, and this other person here talks about when a person learns part of the sutra and wishes to apply first in life, hence take a break from further listening to the rest of the sutra. As this person wishes to ensure that he could get what he listened earlier right before resume listening. Is such practice encouraged? Whatever practice that suits you. Sometimes people hear parts of the sutra and then they don't hear the next part because they're on business trip or whatever the reason. But I can see that this particular question talks about deliberately stopping so that you could apply first. But imagine this, the entire sutra is really a continuous teaching. It's something that that evolves over time because we evolve also. By stopping in the middle, it's almost like, you know, you take the first half and you read through the first half, and then you train your martial arts, and you only have the first half of the book. And the person get the next half, and he trained his martial arts on the second half. So it's not something where you can say, well, let me break this apart, and let me do this first, and then do the next part. Because it's like water. You know, it's like a river. You don't just say, okay, well, all the river, the water here belongs to the upper stream, and all the water here belongs to the lower stream. It's the same river, okay? So I would encourage everybody, just like what Master says, and I would find that teaching if I had the opportunity. But Master said this before, that even if we don't understand, it's encouraged to listen and plant it in your head, memorize it, think about it, so that when you need it, it will come out, okay? What does that mean? It means that even if we don't need it right now, or if we don't think that we need it right now, but we listen to it, it will pop up eventually when we need it. And this is what the Dharma is all about. It's not something that's for you to pick and choose. Dharma is like water. It will fit to your life. But it's not like, oh, I want this water and not that water. But rather, the water comes into you, and it fits into whatever the shape of the container that is your life. You don't just say, well, let me just take a little bit of it, and then let me pause until later. Okay, so but obviously, I understand that, for example, right now we're in chapter 19 of the Lotus Sutra, and for all of you, some of you might be here for the entirety of the chapter 19, right? 19 chapters, but maybe most of us are not. So does that mean that we have to go back to the beginning and then go through all of it so that we can listen to 19 right now? No, it doesn't work that way. What we need to do is listen to the Dharma because it might fit us right now. But at the same time, like right now, we are reviewing from the previous chapters. So all these things, the Dharma will fit at any time, at any moment. But let's not stop getting it. You know, it's almost, this is the same question as like, you know, I'm only going to drink when I am thirsty. But the doctors always tell you that if you are thirsty, that means you've already gone way past the need of water. You're already way thirsty than you need to be. So you need to constantly drinking and taking in this Dharma instead of taking a break from this karma. So last question. The third question is once again about, let me see, I think it's so well, okay. Okay, this is the last question that is in a series of questions that's similar. So Buddha's wisdom is extremely profound. If let's say after listening to it, I think probably I understand it theoretically. I'm gonna stop right here. I think probably I understand it theoretically. And this is exactly what Master says, you know. Buddha's wisdom is not something that we just understand theoretically. It's something that we need to apply. And this is what Master says. If you have faith in the teaching, then you make a vow and you do it. It's not something you understand because the teaching and enlightenment is already beyond our understanding. Do it and then you will understand, rather than understand and then you would do it. So you have faith and then you make a vow and then you take action. So I'm not even going to continue with the next part, but if you understand it theoretically, then the next step you need to do is to act on it. And I think that's the most important thing. So that's what the very first Q&A that I mentioned, that was from Master, that she already pointed you to the path. The Buddha already give you a path, and the Master give you a path. We are not going to understand all of it. We're not going to understand all the enlightened and all the wisdom, but that's okay. Because if you believe, if you have faith, then you are going to do it. You're going to do it, and then you're going to gain that understanding after you do it, and then you're going to have more faith, and you're going to be able to do more action. Okay, so today is more focused on the QA, but I really wanted to share some of the insights that Master had given us through her interaction with people. So that's my sharing for today. And I wish that next week we would be able to get back to the morning lectures, but it would all have to depend on our blessing, if we have enough blessing to be able to receive the teachings. So thank you. And now we're going to open to the center for sharing. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning to all brothers and sisters. Basically, today our sharing is coming from a Tzu Chi from JV. So let's get off.
Okay. Jingse Shifu, Shigu Shibo, brother and sister, good morning. My name is Hualien from Johor Bahru, Malaysia. And Sugong Sangren gave me my Dharma name as Yi Jun. So very感恩 for having this opportunity to share about our Tzu Chi having Xun Fa Xiang with all of you today. Okay, so basically since early this year, we have started our Xun Fa Xiang with Sigu Sipo every Saturday morning. So we have started this Xun Fa Xiang since we come back from Global Tzu Chi camp last year. So this is our first step, to put our tiny vow into an action. So to encourage our Tzu Chi to listen and understand the Dharma teaching by Shi Gong Shangren, and to purify our mind and heart by applying Master Cheng's teaching. So basically, we will gather at Jingsi Hall and join Sigu Sibo Xun Fa Xiang. But then after that, we will have a sharing session, and we will having a breakfast together. And after that, we will carry on our activities, which we will have a short video to share with all of you later. And the target attendance will be all of our Tzu Chi, Xue Zhangjie, and also our Shigu Shibo. Okay, so next we will share with you the short video of our Xun Fa Xiang. And this is the poster where we will share every weekly before the Saturday to have a gentle reminder to all of our Tzu Chi and Xue Zhangjie to sleep early in the Friday, so they won't enjoy the TGIF every Friday, to remind them to sleep early. And we have an appointment with Shi Gong Shangren every Saturday morning. And this photo, we can see, this is the photo where we take at Jingsi Hall every Saturday. We're having Xun Fa Xiang with Shigu Shibo. And after the Xun Fa Xiang, we will be having sharing session with Shigu Shibo until 6:30 a.m. And this photo taken at a breakfast stall after the Xun Fa Xiang, and we will be having breakfast together with Shigu Shibo and Tzu Chi. And from this event, we can see this is a two example of our activity. The left photo showing that we have a plugging activities just outside the area of our Jingsi Hall. We clear the field just outside our Jingsi Hall. And the right-hand side, the photo you can see is we are cleaning, doing gardening at our recycle center. And here is the short video we would like to share with you. Okay, this is a short video of one example of our Xun Fa Xiang event. So next, I would like to introduce to all of you, there's one Tzu Chi which has joined this Xun Fa Xiang event when we started this year. Her name is Zhi Yun, and we would like to share with you her sharing for after she joined the Xun Fa Xiang. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jin, Tzu Chi from Johor Bahru, Malaysia. Today I'm here to share about my opinions and some of my thoughts about Xun Fa Xiang. At the beginning, I think Xun Fa Xiang is a mystery to me because why do people wake up so early and just to go to a place to attend this Xun Fa Xiang? So my curiosity actually lead me to Xun Fa Xiang. At the beginning, Xun Fa Xiang to me is a thing that usually old people will do. But as when I went to Xun Fa Xiang, I found that it is not just what the priority of the old people, but also young people's, because nowadays, the advancements of the technology and the usage of our phones actually makes the young people's, actually attract the young people's to the world of a virtual world. So I think that Xun Fa Xiang actually can brings young people to the ultimate reality. How do I say this is because when I first go to Xun Fa Xiang, I'm really confused about why do I have to wake up so early to attend these activities. But throughout the process, I found that it is actually a very interesting and also meaningful events that every one of us should go and attend. Xun Fa Xiang is about purifying our mind, because Master Cheng will tell us about what the Buddhas has told them during the ancient time, during the past times. And as we know that Dharma is very profound and vast, what is in the Xun Fa Xiang actually helps me in my life. How to say it helps me in my life is because after I Xun Fa Xiang, I realized that when I dealing with things, and I can deal things and handle things in different perspective. When I handle things like if mom told me to do some things, at the beginning I would think like, why you choose me to do, why it's not my sister? But after Xun Fa Xiang, I found that why she asked me to do but not my sister. Maybe I can do it maybe I can do it more, maybe I can do it well than my sister, or I can do it better than them. And it is just it actually makes me think in a different way. And then actually Xun Fa Xiang to young people is very difficult. I totally agree with that, because we have to wake up very early in the morning, 4:30 a.m., and then go to a place to Xun Fa. I will always feel asleep when I heard the Dharma, and then when I heard what Master Cheng Yen has said. But what pushed me to go Xun Fa Xiang very often is because I want to acquire knowledges and views that cannot gain in our daily life, because Dharma is about purifying our minds and then eliminating the ignorance. And then throughout listening to the Dharma, I feel very calm, and then I feel that sometimes when I'm very confused and frustrated, I have the strength and there's a sound, there's a voice talking to me that what ways I should go on and what minds I should have to keep on going. I have attended 2 types of 熏法香. First is at my house area, that area, and then there's a lot of 师姑师伯 go there and 熏法. And then I feel very encouraged because every time after we 熏法, then we will sit down in a circle and all of us will take turns to share our opinions and share our thoughts about what Master Cheng Yen has told us today. And then throughout this sharing process and section, I can get the experience of the elderly, and then I can know how they think different things in a different ways. And then the second 熏法香 is at Tzu Chi会所. Actually, what keeps me going to come such a long way, 30 minutes drive from my home to here, is because I have a lot of 伙伴. My 慈心伙伴 is the strength and the energy that keep me drive for such a long way to just come to 净思堂 to 熏法. It's because they say, hey Jin, tomorrow come and 熏法. I will come. Then I heard, oh, everyone will come here. And then I feel like when I'm with them, I feel like I'm in a big family. Although our bond is not, how to say, we are not sister by blood, but we are sister by heart. And then I feel very, very warm, and also I'm feeling I'm accepted by them, and then they share their thoughts, they share their love, they share whatever they can with me. And I feel like actually I have to appreciate and treasure this kind of bonding. So I come to here. And also 熏法香 actually enriching my life, because you get up so early in the morning, and after you 熏法 it is just 7 a.m. and if you don't 熏法 you also wake up at 7 a.m. But if you wake up early in the morning, you did a very good job, you did a very good habit, and then you did a very meaningful things, and it will really affected your life. I really think that 熏法香 is an activity that everyone should give it a try, and then everyone should give yourself an opportunity, maybe once in a week, and try to come to a place that's full of love, that's full of warmth, and then you will feel that the world is actually very nice. And here I want to encourage those young people and also elderly people, also old people, to come and 熏法香. Although I myself is not everyday 熏法香, but I will give myself an encouragement to 熏法香 at least once a week. Because as we know that contaminants, and also the as the Buddha says, we should eliminating our contaminants and our ignorance, our arrogance, and then we should not because every words and sentence and phrases that thought early in the morning is really meaningful. You should come by yourself, and then you will know why I'm saying that. So give yourself a try, and then hope to see you guys in the air. Thank you.
Okay, 感恩志云 our 慈亲 having this sharing with us. Okay, So basically that's all from us, from JB Tzu Chi team. We'd like to share with all of you. So we really appreciate this opportunity to share with you, and we hope that this would encourage us and give us the power and blessing to gather more Tzu Chi, more youngster and more 学长姐 to join together every morning, join 熏法香 together to support our 子贡上人. Thank you, 感恩.
Hello, yeah, just to touch on a bit from what I heard from the Tzu Chi Ziyun. The way I look at it is just that she started off with a small vow, because she translated the vow into actions. So a small vow is basically wake up in the morning at least once in a week to attend for Xing Fa Xiangs. We always say that when we join Buddhism or Tzu Chi activities, a lot of Sipo, Siku will say this, oh, you have to root in Buddhism, so you are very good, you know, you're so blessed that you're able to come here and help the needy and etc. But when we stepping into Tzu Chi, yes, we have the affinity, we have a good affinity with Tzu Chi, we have the root, but we also need the strength. So the strength is coming from listening to Dharma. So when we listen to Dharma, we acquire the knowledge, we look at things at different perspectives, and this is how we learn from Dharma and put things in actions into our activity, and that is very important, not only in Tzu Chi activities, also in our life, in our careers, yeah, with our families, especially in relations, because these are in humans, and as being a lay person and being a human beings, we have many afflictions, and all these afflictions coming from the three poisons, the greed, the doubt, and the anger. So we also have to remind ourselves that we all have a complete power over our own happiness, but sometimes we lose our power, because basically it's not that we don't have the happiness within us. We all have the happiness within us. It's just that we are rejecting it whenever we get angry, stressed, and frustrated. So coming to Xing Fa Xiang actually is to remind us, we become more mindful of our own actions. So we become very more mindful of our six senses, our mouth, our ear, the things that we look at, the measures that we hear, and the things that we are doing. So really have to come for Xing Fa Xiang to listen to the Dharma, because only then we can purify our minds, then we can help the society.
Okay. Hi, good morning, everyone. It's been a couple of weeks. I didn't attend this sharing due to my duty, but today I can able to attend, and luckily I attend, and I get a chance to listen from the Brother Joe, and of course for just now our Johor Bahru volunteers at the Tzu Chi, especially young people who give us a sharing. Is very wonderful, because I think it is quite extremely amazing that you guys always mention that you only have once a week especially for the young Tzu Chi to attend our Master Sermon teaching once a week on Saturday, and only just for not more than 3 hours. Within this few short time, you already can gain a lot of Dharma, which is you are already feel that is very important in your life, and you already put that in your daily life that you go through the experience. I think it's just like Master say, you only listen one. I think you guys are considered as great capabilities, Staken Chi. Just only listen to once a week, and you already can have such a strength and the power in the faithfully of the Dharma. Is not easy compared to us. Every day we listen, and maybe I will fall asleep, and it's compare. This is at the same scenario that we are at the spot and listen, but just like Brother Joe said, we are at the same time to listen to Dharma, but because due to different people capabilities and their understanding also is different. It's back to what I read last night from Master's one of the articles. Master said the Zhuangzi, one of the Taoism's teacher, he with his friend Hui Si went for a walk, and they are at the pool beside and looking, and the Zhuangzi say, "Oh, it's very happy." And the friends ask, "What are you happy for?" And the Zhuangzi say, I saw the fish is in the pool, and they are very happy." And the friends say, "How you are not fish, but how do you know that they are very happy?" And the Zhuangzi replied to the friend, say, "You are not me. How do you know that I don't know the fish is very happy?" So from this story, Master say, even though we are, two of them are at the same side beside the pool, but the two have a different concept and opinions. And because it's the same, like we all listen to the Dharma, no matter what time and where, and how many people are there to listen. But I believe that we all have a different capabilities to understand the Master teaching. But once we attend, I think the benefit is ourselves who receive it, not others. So it's very good that I heard that our teaching encouraging more people to listen, not just for older and or the elderly, and of course for the young people. And I believe since just Brother Zhou also gave us the answer, we must have the faith. And after that, we have a vow and we take action. This is called sentient. And just now, our brother in Johor, he did mention that because the teaching, they already have faith and they make a great vow because they want to encouraging people more to join and to listen to Dharma at least once a week. I think as Lotus Sutra is a teaching of how to become a Bodhisattva. So this morning, Master say a Bodhisattva path, Sutra is a path, and which is we are listening to the Lotus Sutra. It means like we are walking on the Lotus Sutra path. So each step you are walk on and listen, it's just like you are each step you step in, it's just like you blossom the lotus flower, just 步步生莲. But for our ordinary, because after we are forgetting, and our human realm, not just for human, I think it's just like ordinary people, if we are not listen or immerse Dharma in our life and store in our consciousness for our future life, I think it's very scared that maybe we will routine, and this is what we call the karma retribution. We are in the 6 realms, which is we always have a lot of affection, just like just now Brother Joe gave us the answer. So luckily we hope that we take the Dharma teaching every day and be very important and become a very usual schedule in our life, in our day, not just the activity. After we we try to turn the activities to become our daily schedule, and this is more important, I think. I think this is my feedback for the Tzu Chi sharing, and thanks a lot. I think it's 8 o'clock sharp.